You are watching Muhammad Amir official YouTube channel. Who was Kamal Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, after the end of the Ottoman Empire? Gentlemen, tomorrow we will declare an independent republic, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk announced at a dinner with a group of legislators on October 29, 1923, and after voting the next day, the Turkish parliament adopted the new form of government. And Ataturk was elected as the first president of Turkey. Long live the Republic! Long live Mustafa Kemal Pasha! The legislators shouted these slogans. However, according to experts, 100 years after the historic announcement that changed the Middle East, Ataturk's legacy is now in jeopardy. Ataturk is considered the founder of modern Turkey, while many also remember him as one of the worst abusers of minorities in the Ottoman Empire. However, despite the conflicting opinions, there is a consensus that Ataturk was one of the most important political figures of the 20th century. He managed to preside over Turkey for 15 years at a high level of popularity and was trying to determine what would be the country's new identity after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which was divided by the First World War. I started in the year 1918. Born in Thessaloniki in 1881, when the Greek city was part of the former Ottoman Empire, Ataturk belonged to a generation of soldiers who were concerned about empire. The territory of one of Europe's largest states was shrinking rapidly, while ethnic nationalism and tensions between different religious groups were increasing. Yücel Aktağ is a professor of history at the University of Richmond in the United States and an expert on Turkey. Some soldiers believed that one way to stop or reverse the decline of the Ottoman Empire was to westernize and modernize it, he told the BBC. That is, this group of fighters also supported secularism. It's not that they didn't like religion nor Islam, but they thought it was somehow slowing down social progress, he says. So Ataturk began to modernize his country with a series of reforms that changed Turkey forever. The first changes allowed Turks to exercise popular sovereignty through democracy. Thanks to the Republican Revolution, the Grand National Assembly of Turkey announced the establishment of the Republic of Turkey on October 29, 1923. Perfection and its 6 arrows. The main features of the new country were based on the 6 arrows of perfectionism. The ideology implemented by Ataturk is also called Ataturkism, which is a symbol of republicanism, populism, nationalism, secularism, statism and reformism. One of his most important legacies for most historians was the secularization of the country in particular. Aktağ says that in the Ottoman Empire, the roots on the basis of race and religion were very strong in the empire, and they knew that this was one of the reasons for its disintegration. Ataturk's idea was to convince these different ethnic and religious groups to remain part of the Republic of Turkey. Turkey adopted the Gregorian calendar. A 1926 constitutional amendment decreed the end of the Ottoman Caliphate, and a modified version of the Latin alphabet replaced the Arabic alphabet. Likewise, the founder of modern Turkey enacted a new civil code in 1926 that proclaimed gender equality in the country. Then women got the right to vote in 1934, before other countries like Argentina, Colombia, Mexico or Venezuela. Respectable in Turkey? Ataturk also made Ankara, then a small city of a few thousand inhabitants, a center. It was the new capital of the country, replacing Istanbul in order to place the capital in a more central geographical location. Kemal Ataturk is seen as a revered figure in the country for several reasons. I remember when I was in primary school, I started writing poems in praise of Ataturk, Turkish writer Nedim Gürsel tells BBC Mundo. There is undoubtedly still a large group of people in Turkey influenced by his personality. The legacy of perfectionism is very important not only for Turkey, but for the entire Muslim world, but I think that today we should also criticize it. To transform Turkey, Ataturk and his colleagues thought that dictatorship was the best way to implement all these reforms. Ali Yusioglu, a historian, explains that within a short period of time he became an authoritarian leader and basically eliminated all vestiges of democracy. There were some attempts to introduce a democratic semblance in 1932, but overall he was an authoritarian leader. Dissemination role. Outside Turkey's borders, opinion is somewhat more divided about the man who transformed the Eurasian nations. Ataturk commanded the Turkish army during the Greco-Turkish War from 1919 to 1922, which he won despite being weakened after World War I. During the so-called Asia Minor War, atrocities were committed on both sides and millions were forced into exile. Ataturk expelled the Greek army from Anatolia, now Turkey, and also expelled large numbers of ethnic Greeks, in what was later called the population exchange between Greece and Turkey. Through this population exchange stipulated in the Treaty of Lausanne of 1923, approximately 1.5 million Greek Orthodox Christians, many of whom had never lived outside of Turkey, were expelled from the country. Opinion about Mustafa Kamal is also divided in Armenia, which was not an independent country until 1922. The Armenian people claimed that some of their territories were occupied by Turkey and some by the Soviet Union. Stanford University historian Yassioglu told BBC Mundo, "I don't think Armenians blame Ataturk entirely, but the state he created was seen as a country that ended World War I. I perpetuated the atrocities committed during the Armenian genocide. This is because some people believe that the Turks benefited from the fact that millions of people were killed and certainly more than 1 million were deported. These were the people who participated in the genocide and fought against the Armenians after the war.